Welcome back to another episode of Black Girls Texting. It's your girl, Sade. Hey, bitches.
It's your girl, Charles Pinky.
I didn't know we were singing and I'm not prepared. It's Glynn. Oh, I kind of sang.
That was melodic.
Welcome back to another episode of Black Girls Texting. It's early morning. A bitch is still in the bed, and her name is Sade. Who am I joined by?
It's Glynn, and I don't have on any pants, and I'm under a blanket because it's early morning.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And Charles Pinky here in my Canal Street hat.
I was just thinking that hat was looking cute.
Canal Street.
I'm
was having a bad hair day.
I thought you were gonna say I was thinking the hat was looking Canal Street, and I was gonna be like,
no,
Glenn, that's not nice.
No. Well, oh my God! So you pulled the trigger?
Yeah, man. I'm so upset right now. My nail appointment got canceled because my nail tech is quote unquote sick, and I've had these nails for 5 weeks now.
Why is she quote unquote sick?
And now I can't even do my hair because every time I touch my hair is ripping out of my head because it's getting caught in this fucking nails. So I'm afraid to touch my hair. It's not great.
Girl.
Okay. Oh, damn.
Right after
you have the
this,
nerve to have them black?
Right after this, I'm out to the salon.
You found a place in Mexico?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Cool. And I'm also going to try and get my lashes done today. So hopefully they can do both.
Look at that.
Mm-hmm. All right, girls. All right. What are we leaving on red and replying to?
I can kick it off unless. Oh, no. Go ahead, Chelsea.
No.
Okay. I am quickly just going to leave on red my poor money management. Like, it's so bad. It's so terrible. Granted, I don't think I budgeted enough for this trip because I wasn't thinking of like trips I would take within the trip. So that I kind of fucked up. And I'm just like shopping because I'm like, it's one of a kind. I'm in Mexico. I need it. And it's just really bad. I told myself 30 would be my year, but you know what? It could be my year, but more of like 2023 than 2022. Because I don't turn 30 till August, so I still have some more time to fuck around.
Right.
Maybe a silly 20 something.
Yep, that's how I'm validating it. And then come August 12th, I'm gonna be like, oh,
it all stops.
She's a wise bitch now. That's what I'm telling myself. If anyone has any advice, no, honestly, I won't take it. I know what I need to do. I need to stop spending outside of my means. But what are means? You know?
What are means?
What are means?
Means are things. You have them.
It's you guys know, then I go existential crisis and I'm like,
it's like, well, we're all gonna die anyway.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't get it.
One of my friends said he was gonna gift his children with his student loans. Like, here you go, I got something for you to inherit.
Oh my gosh. I honestly, like, I rather have these experiences. I know I need to get it together, but I really rather have these experiences than be like stressing about like retirement. I'm just like, what is that? But maybe that's not the right mindset. Whatever. I'm replying to this tattoo I got last night.
I can't wait to see it.
That's crazy. What did you get?
It's pretty fucking random. I went to a sound festival and I basically was a part of an art installation where like the tattoo, if I can understand this correctly, one, it's very complicated. And I was explaining this in Spanish, so it's even more complicated, but like this man was like adjusting sounds. And then like, that's how the machine was like moving. But then they also had like a list of kind of what they were supposed to do. So like it was 12 minutes long. And like first we were supposed to do like a line. And then at some points they would do like little points, but it was all inspired by like the sound of the
That's
machine.
so cool.
So I was
Wait,
like,
so it's random? What's on your body?
So random. It's literally like lines and dots on my leg.
Chelsea's disturbed.
Can I see it?
I really want to see it. I know it's wrapped up, but
yeah. Okay. Well, hold on. All right. No, this is gonna be weird. I'm gonna have to like take my pants off, and this is gonna go on YouTube.
Okay.
So
Maybe the
we want to
patrons.
see.
I'll show you later. I'll show you later. Yeah, my friends were like, are you seriously doing this? You don't even know what it is. You don't know these people. And I was like, I have a fucking infinity symbol on my body. Like it can't get any worse than
And don't talk to
why
half
did
the
we
people.
do that? I knew that was a bad idea when we did it.
I'm like, it can't get any worse than that.
I hate it.
I really. And like, I don't know. I find tattoos to just be like stories more than anything. Like, sure, you want them to have like meaning, but I don't think you have to like think in depth about them for months and years and be like, okay, I'm doing it. I feel like it's kind of like just a moment in time of your life. Like, even though I hate that fucking infinity symbol, I'm like, well,
that was your fucking
at
idea.
this time in my life, I had these really close friends and this was the concept and whatever. And I feel like I'm actually having a friend design something for me and I'm gonna like put something over it. But like,
yeah, I heard that you was getting that shit covered up.
Yeah.
You didn't even tell me, nigga. I'm getting my shit covered up.
You don't have the same tattoo. It's different.
Listen, the other girl changed hers too. I'm like, I'm gonna still be out here with this damn infinity symbol.
Wait,
who changed theirs?
Baldy, she added onto it. I'm not calling her bald because she don't got no hair, y'all. I'm not rude like that. She's bald.
Yeah, but hers was actually very cool.
Yeah, hers was cool as fuck. She changed it though to make it better.
Well, yeah, that's that. I'll show you guys the tattoo when I don't have to pull my pants off on Zoom. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
So
you ready? You ready, Chelsea? Go ahead.
So I'm replying to YouTube. So I got on this like YouTube hole somehow.
Yes, ma'am.
I started, but like I don't watch random girls putting on their makeup like you guys. I watched like
we don't do that.
We watch all kinds of things.
I watch Blueface Girls Club.
Bitch, you fucking tried it. You tried it.
Then I actually watched.
I watched that too, though. Actually,
I knew you would. Then I watched this show Will Smith has. It's called Best Shape of My Life. He's like working out. He starts off at like 220 pounds, and he has to get down 20 pounds in 20 weeks. But then you start like learning all this stuff about him. Like I started crying during one of the episodes because they were talking about he was a child, trigger warning, who witnessed like domestic violence. And that really freaked me out. Like imagining a child seeing that. And then I watched Kanye's Drink Champs. And then I started watching Kevin Samuels interviewing Brittany Renna. It was just a wild YouTube randomness hole.
How'd you feel about Kanye? Did you finish it? It's so long.
I did not finish it. It was so long. But from what I saw, he was drunk. And his publicist will probably be very upset if he has one.
I doubt it.
He probably doesn't. And Kim is probably like, yeah, I'm definitely divorcing this man who's kind of lost his mind.
Unwell.
Yes.
My favorite line is that his home is his bag.
Yes.
That was the most privileged shit I ever fucking heard.
I was like, sir, what are you even saying?
But like also kind of cool that he's like, yeah, I go to Paris with nothing and I stop by Balenciaga and they outfit me for 4 days. I'm
right.
Like, great.
But he's like,
kind of cool.
I mean, that's the goal because they're trying to rip all these things away from us and the man, da. Sir, you're rich as fuck. That's why you can do that. What are you talking about? Like,
He's like, some
You
people
can't just
choose
be out
to
here
be
with no
homeless.
houses. What are you talking about? It's
The
so
thing is, like,
detached.
some of the things he's saying make like some sense, but they're just so wrapped up in this like other delusional statements that it's like, oh, damn
Then
it.
he
Right. It's like,
Right.
oh,
credibility.
okay, Kanye. Oh,
Right.
no,
Right.
no, forget it.
Yeah. So that was
Oh,
that. That was YouTube. And then what I'm putting on red is the New York Times article that I told you guys to read.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they
So-
told me my free reading was up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so the name of the article is Do You Hide Your True Self While Dating? I think they changed the name because originally I think the name was something else and they
That shit was
edited it.
cringy.
Like your Negro self or something.
No, I think it was like people change themselves when interracially dating, and I think they softened it a bit. But I just want to, before we start talking about it, I want to read like a few screenshots that I took.
Yes, please.
So the first thing is, okay. So the general gist of the article, for those of you who have not been seeing it on social media, like the subtitle was like, when dating interracially, some Black people say that code switching, a common practice of adapting the way they look, speak, or act in different social settings, comes as second nature. So some of the things that I highlighted when I was reading it is, the first one is, hair isn't the only thing Miss Barnwell said she has toned down when getting to know someone who is not Black. She won't play soul music, wears clothes that don't expose her curves, and avoids using African American vernacular English, commonly known as Ebonics, in conversation. Another quote, Mr. Lamont, who said he mostly dates white men, later realized he code switches in other ways when meeting someone who isn't Black for the first time. Quote, when I'm going on a first date, I consciously put on clothes that make me appear to be a Don Lemon type instead of a 50 Cent type.
Girl, that's when I lost it. That's when I lost it.
Even though I own both types of clothing.
What 50 Cent clothes you own? What does that mean?
Some G-Unit tank tops.
Exactly.
They be wearing suits.
Whole time.
Right, 50 does wear suits. Okay, another quote. The greater the perceived, okay. While a person of any race may adapt their authentic self to make a good impression on a date, this switch in behavior is often more prominent in interracial or interethnic relationships. Quote, the greater the perceived distance, cultural difference, or racial difference between the two people involved, the more code switching is likely to occur, said Kathleen Gerson, a sociologist and professor at NYU. Okay, second to last one. This woman, they interviewed this woman from New Orleans, and she said, quote, my mom is in her 60s. Okay, no, she said her mother's use of Southern slang has also made her anxious about introducing her family to that of a prospective partner who isn't Black. This woman mostly dates white men, she says. Quote, my mom is in her 60s and old school from Mobile, Alabama, said Miss Westry. She feels comfortable in the way that she talks, and I would never want somebody to judge her intellect level or anything based on that because my mom's a smart nurse.
Oh my God. I just feel so bad for all the people in that damn article. They sound crazy.
Yeah.
What?
But is the article trying to say that this is a more common thing, or are these just people kind of on the extreme sides?
No, they're saying it's more common when interracially dating to hide yourself. Yeah.
I get it. I could see that being a thing. I thought there was one that was kind of nuanced where the guy who said he got 50 Cent clothes said that he was asking for directions, and that when he asked a Black person for directions and his voice changed, and his white partner was like, why did you change your voice? Like, he called him out on it.
And mimicked.
Yeah, and the mimicking part, then I was like cringing again. Yeah. But it's interesting if we think about how we talk about Black people code switching in the workplace, and then it just happens. Like, you just get around white people and your voice just goes up an octave or something. I could see it like subconsciously happening when people are like dating somebody, and that's crazy. It's interesting. We're going to talk later about passing in this episode, but like, is that a type of
Yeah.
performance, like
Mhm.
when you're not actually not yourself and you're in a relationship the whole time. That's really crazy.
Yeah, and I think the difference for me, if comparing like workplace versus relationship, it's like workplace, that's kind of like a survival mechanism, right? Like you
Yeah.
want to be deemed quote unquote professional. We know Blackness is not always aligned with professionalism as our society unfortunately sees it. So like, you don't, things are changing now, obviously, but back in the day, you wouldn't wear like your afro to a corporate job. Like
Right.
you speak in your white voice, quote unquote. But like dating and relationship, that's you're supposed to be able to bring your full self to
Right.
your
That's
relate.
supposed to be
That's
your
home.
refuge.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So could not be me.
It's just making me think, not related to the dating, but I have this white coworker who's always like, dope, or like people will be like, word when they're talking to me, and I'm like, why are you talking like this?
See, that's when you should literally say that. There are people that would do that.
But I think I think that's how they really talk. But it's just
Oh.
like funny to me because like I don't speak, like even when we're like keeping casual, like I might be like, I'll curse and like, be very crass, but I'm never like, yeah, that's dope. Like
word, son.
You don't wait. Why don't you talk like that?
Because I don't like that. Like I'm not like friends with these people like that. Like I'm just like, sounds good. I'm not like word. Like what
Oh my
the
God,
fuck?
I be saying word.
We're at work.
I say word.
Oh, well, you're also a bird, so
word.
You talk to your mom like that too,
Yeah,
which I find so crazy. I'm like, I don't. You'd be like, yeah,
and
she was
word.
mad tight at me, and I was like, what's your problem? And I'm like, oh, who are you talking to? And you're like, my mom. I'm like, oh, see, no, like
what? That's how I mean, it's language.
Yeah. They also like quoted The Souls of Black Folk, which probably you read in school. Du Bois or Du Bois or Du Bois. I feel like you can say it multiple ways, or so I've been
heard
told.
that as well.
Somebody said that, yeah.
Yeah, but
somebody.
We all heard that somewhere.
I guess we can't ask him how to say it, but he wrote in his book, a peculiar sensation, or he described this behavior of code switching. He wrote, a peculiar sensation, this double consciousness, this sense of always looking at oneself through the eyes of others, of measuring one's soul by the tape of a world that looks on in amused contempt and pity. And he wrote that in 1903. And look at us in 2021, still acting stupid.
I feel like we can unpack more of this when we get to the group chat and thinking about passing, but I do think a lot of these people like want to be accepted by their like interracial partners. And so they feel they have to change themselves because they, I guess, have some concept or notion that however they speak, how this woman's mother speaks, how they dress is like not
good enough,
acceptable. But then it's like, I don't know. I feel like we can unpack that a little bit more, but it's funny, like, because I've been in an interracial relationship and I don't feel like I had to code switch, but I do remember one particular guy I used to sleep with who was like very bro-y, like I used to call him Wall Street. And like, I could tell our interactions were very different. I mean, in a lot of ways, we were doing a lot of things I shouldn't have been doing together. But it was like that one particular one is one where I was like, I might have like leaned in a little bit into my Trinity-ness more so with him than with others.
My thing about, because I've not in any serious way, but like talked to white guys in the past. That's a thing, right? But then it's a different thing to me, which was said in this article, like the woman saying, yeah, like I usually only date white guys. Like that's why. I don't know. That's so weird to me. Like,
it was
what is
casual how they said
only,
it.
like, yeah, like
too. They're like,
why?
Such and such who usually dates white men.
Right. Like,
who said they like to date white men? I don't know. It was odd. How does that happen? But I don't know. I usually date black men. So
right. It's different if it's like, oh, who's in an interracial
Currently.
relationship. Like,
Yeah.
okay, it happened, whatever. But like, it's weird when it's like only dates or usually dates or likes to date or prefers
Is this the
to
same
date.
girl who hides her
It was like
curves?
everybody in the damn article,
Yeah.
child.
Oh,
Interesting.
wow.
Interesting.
And
A
then-
lot of self-hating.
She said, she was like, I wore Birkenstocks on my first date with a white man, and I would never do that if I was with a non-white person.
Why?
Why?
It's a
Why?
sandal.
You have Birkenstocks. You're black, and you wear them. So why you can't wear them in front of another black person?
Right.
I don't know. It's just like, whoa! It was just
Black,
really
many
troubling.
black
Just
people
like-
wear Birkenstocks.
I'm just
Right.
like, I don't know that I'm wearing Birkenstocks on the first
Just
date
on
at
a date
all.
in
Yeah, but
general.
you wouldn't. But like that, it's like if I'm like a person that wears Birkenstocks, which I am, I'm gonna wear my Birkenstocks.
First date Birkenstocks?
Maybe not first.
No,
It
I'm
depends.
not doing it on a first date with
Okay.
anyone, but I don't want to stereotype, but I'm imagining she's like a kind of like a crunchy kind of
Mhm.
person.
Yeah.
So like wear your damn be yourself.
Exactly. But this is all easier said than done, and I mean, it's a beautiful thing that we're in a place that we can see like how it's like sad, and we don't feel like we have to bend to those things. But there are people that do. The girl said she hid her hair from the man and then was relieved when he immediately liked it.
Yeah.
I was like,
She
now
got
that's
his
cringe.
approval.
Right.
The white man approved.
I used to hook up with this one guy my senior year, and I'll never forget it. I started wearing weaves, and the white boys was like on me at school. I was like, whoa, get out of here, Chad. But they were like pressed. They were pressed. That everybody then started wanting to like take me to their formals and like take me
Oh my
out. And
God.
I'd be at these white boys' houses, and they'd have like their pledges over, treating them like dogs, talking all crazy, being like, go get her a bagel. I was like, yo, get me out of here. Get me out of here. I'm in the sunken place.
Oh
I
my
gotta get out.
God. Oh my God. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
But like also like I feel like I don't know, I feel like white guys that like date black women, they don't give a shit about your afro. Like they like that.
He knows you're black.
Right, you're black.
No,
He
I
met
think
you.
there's definitely a type that like fetishize a black woman, like, but with a white, quote unquote, white look. So like they want, like it's basically taking like the white Barbie and just putting a darker skin tone on her. So they're like, ooh,
I believe
you know,
that's a
she's
type.
so exotic, but like,
I believe that's sure, a type, but like I also know plenty white guys that like will like are if they're attracted to black women, they're attracted to the darkest skin, the most natural hair, like the blackest
is
black
so
woman you could
freaky to
find. So like I'm just I don't know.
yeah.
It's just odd.
Mhm.
My nigga black now, so I don't know about these problems and trials and tribulations.
Glynn, what are you leaving on Reddit and reply this week?
So I'm gonna reply to the students protesting at Howard. I was just in a YouTube poll myself watching these like freshman students being so like it's actually inspiring how much they're like advocating for their experiences as students. So basically, if you haven't heard, there's students protesting at Howard, protesting the state of like the dorms and the accommodations. There's like mold growing in the dorms. They're showing like leaks and flooding, and it's just like unlivable. This one kid said that people are getting sick, being hospitalized, all this shit because of the condition of the dorm rooms. So students have been, yes, child, they have been sleeping outside in tents for like
almost
the
30
past
days.
Yep.
I've seen that, but I didn't know
Yes.
people were getting hospitalized. Like, are they
Yes.
trying to get sued? Like, what the fuck?
Girl. And, you know, as a student at Howard, I saw a lot of interesting things myself, but we all just were like, oh, that's just how it is, you know, whatever, just going along with it. And I think it's like really amazing that these students are standing up. Like, it's not cheap to go to that damn school. And the least they could have is a place that's livable. And I don't know if you guys saw Felicia Rashad and Debbie Allen being interviewed about it.
Yeah.
What they say?
Felicia tried to cut Felicia. Oh, she's out here wilding. Somebody needs to check on her. She's like, I guess they were like, so what do you think of what the students are doing? Da, 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 da. And she's like, well, my thing is what happens when students speak up and then they are heard and then their issues are addressed, but it's still not good enough. That's what's happening right now.
No.
That doesn't even make sense.
So
what?
Yeah. So I know you guys like to shit all over Clubhouse, and I do sometimes too, but Clubhouse actually had a really great room about this where students, recent Howard students, current Howard students were actually in there speaking. And it was so ridiculous, like all the issues that they spoke about. And it's also sad, right? Because Howard is definitely supposed to be like, if
A
not
premier,
at least one of the like best HBCUs. So like that's supposed to be like the best we have, right? And then this girl was talking about how her and her sister got their acceptance letter 2 days before the first day of class.
What?
Which is crazy. Like I've never heard of that at my school.
Oh my God.
And then so they were talking about all the administrative issues. And then she was talking about then when we finally figured out, you know, how we're going to get a room on campus, that we decide we really want to go there. They went there and there was like her and her sister like lived in the same room, and they started developing like these black spots on their skin. They realized it was from like the mold or like whatever they were inhaling. God. It was like an allergic reaction or just a reaction. They told the school. She said there were roaches all over like the bedroom, and like the ceiling would always leak.
No.
And like no one was helping them, basically. Like they would call campus, you know, the people that are supposed to help them, the adults in the situation, and like no one was helping them. Finally they just moved off campus. But like I don't know. So like, another thing that I heard is that right now the students are, you know, shout out to the students, don't want to this is not meant to like talk down on what they're doing, but some adults were in the room and they were saying the students haven't made like clear demands. So that's one issue. The other issue is their sit-in or tent-in or whatever it would be called is at Blackburn building. And he said traditionally when Howard students protest, it should be at the A building. Because like basically the only thing in Blackburn he was saying is the cafe.
The caf. Yeah.
So, or the caf. And he said in the A building, that would basically stop people from doing their job. So that's where they should have like hunkered down. That's a good point. But, and he said he's been speaking to the kids. There's like one light-skinned girl with like blonde locks who's kind of the leader. I forgot her name. You know, he shared his ideas, but he's like, they don't really want to listen, which he's not hating on. Like, shout out to them for doing this in the first place.
Active.
Yeah, but like, you know, obviously, you know, they need guidance if they actually want stuff to get done. But there's actually an Instagram page that you can follow if you want to follow this story. I'll find it if you guys want to talk. I'll find
I was gonna say, come on, Miss Info.
Miss Info.
Miss Information.
But so I have a quick question. Is it that, well, okay. One, I know a lot of these like wealthier schools, typically whiter schools, have the funds because they get so many like endowments and they're getting money from like their alumni. But do we also think like Howard's just like mismanaging money? Like
the girl said that the president is putting money in his pocket.
So this is not new, right? So it's not, some people are blaming the president, which in that room, I deciphered from the information they were sharing that that's not really a fair assessment since this isn't new. This has been happening since before this president. But something that I did learn, and I took notes on this and I can't find it, but basically Howard signed a contract with a company and they're in charge of many of the like army bases, like in terms of like building management. Anyways, and in the contract, it basically says Howard has no right to like say like when and when these repairs need to be done. Like it's basically like they signed a very shitty contract. And I'm trying to find the name of the company so we can call them out.
Oh, they're mixed up in some shit.
So it's like the building management.
The building management, which also, you know, does a lot of army bases, is in charge of Howard's. And they're doing a piss poor job, but in the contract, there's nothing really Howard can do. which is one of the issues. I also think maybe, you know, alum need to be donating more. I don't know.
I mean, shit is actually really wild though when you think about colleges, especially when they're built in typically like lower income communities. Like one of my dorms was previously like the projects. Like everybody knew that. Everyone was like, I'm not living there. And then meanwhile, like because it was like outer campus, but then like the on campus, you're like living inside of a chapel. Like it was like very interesting. So like there's definitely funny business that I think starts to happen when like colleges start buying property, especially in these like lower income, less developed areas. And then this contract sounds very sus, like whatever they got themselves into.
Yeah, it's the company starts with a C. I can't seem to find it. I'll text my guy and see if he remembers.
Yeah.
Who's your guy? You have like a
her clubhouse friend?
No, my lover.
Oh, okay. I was like, your clubhouse plug.
Yeah, exactly.
You advise.
I mean, shit. All that being said, I'm gonna also just leave that shit on red, the whole situation. But again, celebrating the students that are standing up, it's pretty dope. It also had me thinking, like, damn, this younger generation, these Gen Zs, right? They just I just love them, you know. They just
it ain't all here. Of them.
I was like, don't get gas off of them. Half of them are on TikTok all day.
I was gonna say, like, we asked that in the chat, in the clubhouse room. We were like, so are all the students very like supportive of this? And he was like, no. Like, there's some kids who are like activists, and there are other kids who want to have their college experience, right? And rightfully so. Like, you can't hate on them for that either. But they're like, I'm still doing homecoming stuff. I'm still doing X, Y, and Z. Like, I'm going to enjoy my college experience.
I mean, I would definitely be doing
Glynn would be leaving the tent.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm going to
get ready in the tent to go to the club.
Right. Correct. So it's not all of them.
From the club
the Instagram page, if you want to follow this, it's _ the live movement. That's the Instagram page.
The live movement. Okay. Anybody have a hotline blinging?
Do you, ma'am? What's going on with you?
I mean, I was just going to talk about this, like, it's not really a text, but an email that I got from this woman that I was helping, that facilitated this staff retreat that I planned and was like torturing my life for the past 2 weeks. She wrote me this like really beautiful email. The subject line was like, amazing grace. And she was just saying that I have like so much grace, and like, she was like, I encounter so much mediocrity in the corporate world, and you are the complete opposite. You shine like a jewel. If I could ever write you a recommendation letter, even if it's 10 years from now, please know that I would. Like, she was going on and on and on and on. It was so nice. And she was like, I'm sure you already know like how competent you are, but just in case, I had to make sure I like, she said something really interesting, like double clicked it or something. And I've talked about this in a past episode before, that I've had these moments of like, what's that shit called? Like
imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm. Or I'll just be like, oh wow, I'm actually like really good at shit. And I'm just always like surprised. And it's like, bitch, when are you gonna stop being surprised and just know that you're popping? So it's just, because the day-to-day when my job is like hard and challenging, I have to just tell myself that I got this, because I always do. So yeah,
correct.
It's very nice to hear from that lady,
Come on, hotline bling email.
Yeah. Anybody else? No? All right.
Not that I can share here.
Oh, right. Okay, she's nasty. All right, so Black Girl Doing Shit. I want to shout out Renata Shirlise. She is the founder of blackarchives.co, that Instagram page. You guys know it? You know it.
Yes,
I see it all the time. It's a great page. Literally, it's like a archive of Black photos. And something that I'm working on a story right now that required me to do some archival research, like for a Black piece of historical fucking archive. Sorry, I can't speak. But I found myself like sorting through photos of like Black families on vacation. And it was like so interesting to me that a photo so simple of a family could be considered like as a historical artifact. And when you look at some of these pictures, it's literally just like kids playing. I'm looking at a picture of like some ladies that like just stepping out to go to like a gala or something, posing, dancing. All these things are historic artifacts, and it's just like Black people living, and it's really beautiful.
I love this page. I'm so glad they're verified.
I know.
That makes me very happy because metaverse be playing.
Get your boy. Like this is a beautiful picture of like these two boys looking at a spider web, and like that's an archival object. It's just Black people living, literally.
What I love about her page too is like she's very specific usually about the locations. She has a lot of detail and like it feels like you're looking at your family. Like yes. I love that feeling.
Actually, yeah, my dad called me about this not long ago. Like, you heard this page, Black Archives?
How does he know how to use IG?
Instagram. That is the question. He was sending me pictures from it. Like, I mean, there's a picture of this woman getting her afro shaped up. It's just, yeah, I love this page so much. It's beautiful.
So dope.
It's a nice pocket on the internet.
Can you say her name one more time? Oh,
I
found it.
You found it? Yeah. Renata
like
Charlize.
Charlize. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm on the New York. There's like a slide and it's New York. It's cool.
So good.
Yeah, it's a great page. And now let's hop into the group chat.
Boop, boop, boop.
All right. So, ladies, this week we are gonna discuss the movie Passing, which is...
She's looking like she's pulling up some documents.
I actually really intended to do a lot more preparation, but but yeah, Passing is out right now in theaters. It's also on Netflix. It was made by this white director named Rebecca Hall, who you might know from the film Vicky Cristina Barcelona. She's
I love that.
The dark-haired girl. I love that movie too. Like one of my favorite movies. She's British, which I didn't realize. And it was, and I'll get into like the Passing itself, but I was just listening to an interview with her, and it was interesting to me because she read this book by Nella Larsen called Passing, and it made her reflect on her own family, because people always thought that her mother, they used to call her mother exotic. And when she looked into her lineage, she had a grandfather who was passing as white and living in Detroit, and like wild. When you see pictures of her mom, it's like, that lady is Black. How did they not know? Like,
you thought so? I looked up pictures of her and I
Black to me.
Wait, send me the pictures.
I'm gonna send you a picture. We're gonna get into it, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a patron, you know that we have been debating like, how do you look Black? What's Black? What must you look like to be Black? So anyway, so this book, Passing by Nella Larsen, she was an author. She wrote 2 books. Another one was called Quicksand. She was, in the Harlem Renaissance, and she was a librarian and a nurse, and she didn't really get a lot of acclaim while she was alive, but later has been considered a premier novelist of the Harlem Renaissance and an important figure in American modernism. And Passing tells the story of these 2 friends who knew each other from Chicago, fell apart, or time. Their names are Irene and Claire. So Claire had a biracial father, and she was like orphaned. So her white aunts took her in. So she was like raised by white people. And then she decided she was going to start to pass, which means to pass as white. She had, Eurocentric features, light skin, and found it more advantageous to live as a white woman. And then she runs into Irene at a restaurant where Irene is actually kind of passing in that moment, trying to get away from the sun, trying to get a cool drink. And she goes into this place where she would not be allowed as a Black woman. But she enters the space and they run into each other. And there's this moment when they see each other that kind of Irene is like, because Claire's calling out to her, right? And Irene is like, I don't know you. Like, I feel like in that moment she was afraid that she was being like caught, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, they reconnect, and then Claire kind of like upends Irene's life in this wild way, right? Like she starts to, through Irene, Claire's getting access back to like Blackness.
Yes.
But it's like a complicated dynamic between the two. So let's get into it. What were your feelings about the film at large? Because we were talking in the group chat and the girls weren't loving it.
Well, yeah, I think you guys liked it, but like overall, I thought the film was dry and boring, and just not what I expected. I expected it to be more about passing, or like what that process might have been like. Like, did they, is it like every morning, like you put on like a lighter powder, or like I don't know, like is it like constantly worrying that your edges are extra straight, or what? I don't know. I wanted it to be more about passing.
Like, where was the 1920s edge control?
Right. Like, was it, did they have some CJ Walker in a bottle or something and they scraped it back? I don't know. But anyways, I wanted it to be more like that. And it was it like about like a treacherous friend? I don't really know. But there was a scene that reminded me of our last Patreon where they were in like some dance club in Harlem, and basically Rini says to her, she's with her like white guy friend, I forgot his name. And he's like, that hot blonde over there, she's beautiful, da da da. And Rini's like, she's not everything she may seem or whatever. And basically he realizes that that's a Black woman passing. And he's like, how can you tell? And she's like, why are you talking to me like that's like a circus animal or something? And it really reminded me of our conversation. And she was just like, you can just tell, like, I can just tell. And it reminded me of our conversation when you guys were like, well, how can you tell this person's Black? And like, how, like, what about them can you tell? And I was just like, you can just tell, like, you can just tell when someone, at least I can tell when someone's Black. So that conversation was really interesting to me. She said when she's like, we can all tell, stop making me feel like you're writing for National Geographic. When he's like, well, what about her can you tell? And that was like kind of the annoyance that I was feeling in that Patreon episode, in that moment. And then also it was interesting when or just seeing like a Black family depicted in that time period that was also like well-to-do. Like they had a nice big house. He was a doctor. They had a maid who was darker skinned. Yeah. And it was interesting when the husband kisses Rini and he's like, I like what my women dark, referring to Rini as like dark. That was also interesting to me.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah.
How dark is she actually?
Right. Like I guess she's darker than Claire, but like you have a whole maid that's like 10 shades darker.
Right.
Right.
And then it was also interesting when Rini's talking to her husband and she's like, Claire's so beautiful. And he's like, I mean, she'd be a particularly pretty for a white girl, but like for a Black girl, she's
nothing special.
She's nothing special. And I thought that was interesting too. Cause I always say, I'm like, damn, if I were white, I'd probably be an A-list celebrity by now.
Chelsea. Oh my God. Okay, yeah, you're calling out so many interesting scenes. I want to get into that one in the dance club, but actually, before even that. So I was listening to this episode of this other podcast called Pop Culture Happy Hour, and they were talking about.
Oh, I need to listen to that.
You need to listen to it because they were saying that one of the critics was like, I couldn't get past the fact that both of those women don't even look white. So like, I don't even believe that they would ever pass for anything.
I don't know that I agree with that.
You think
because I don't think white people have the same, like, that thing that I was talking about. Like, I can tell when someone's Black. Like, I don't know if white people, I've told you, I've been asked like, what are you, so many times, like,
right.
But like to a Black person, at least I would think, I don't know. I don't know if I totally agree with that statement, but okay.
Have you guys, if you look up, you can see photos of the film, but in color. And it's
Oh.
very interesting because you can see there's only a few shots, but in color, Claire has blonde eyebrows and very blonde hair. And it's like interesting to see that.
Oh, I can see that.
Because I thought the same thing. I was like, what does Shorty
Send
even
us
look
those
like?
pictures.
Like I had to
Oh,
look
I
her
see.
up.
Yeah, that looks like a white
She
woman.
looks a little more white. Yeah, she does.
Yeah. I
That
mean, they
looks like a white
definitely,
woman.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I could see
Wow.
that. I could see that actually. Interesting. That's interesting. Huh.
If she had
White
come
in
up to you
color.
and just said like, "Oh, I'm white," I wouldn't be like, "No, you're not." You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. And then like Tessa Thompson or Renee, you see definitely like makes an effort to like wear her little hat and like pull it down to kind of, I don't know if it's like she's trying to hide
that's definitely a
her
device.
features or whatever it may be. Even the way she wears her hair, like it's always kind of covered and in this like chiffon style, like with the little pins back. So yeah, they definitely I think are insinuating, but it's kind of hard. Yeah, with it being in black and white, I was kind of like, what's going on here?
Which it's now I'm thinking like that was probably the intention, right? But
Mm.
I heard the director saying, because I was looking at them like, well, I guess I entered the film already thinking like they're not going to convince me that they could ever pass. Like it was in my brain, and then I'm like, how was this woman married to this white man this whole time and he had no idea? But the director was saying like that's just like that's his whiteness, that he can't even consider that there would even be a black woman trying to pass, or like he just lives in his own sort of reality. So there's a scene in the beginning when after they run into each other at the restaurant, Claire brings Irene up to meet her husband and they're just having a little kiki. He starts saying that he nicknames her Nig because her skin is getting darker as the years go on. And then he's like, she hates niggers. She won't even hire them. Da, 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 da. She doesn't even want them around her. And of course, that is because she doesn't want them to peep her.
Right.
But there was something I also thought was interesting in that scene was how sort of like sexual and affectionate they were with each other, Claire and her husband. And then you start to see that Irene and her man kind of have some tensions in their marriage. Like, doesn't seem like they've been getting it popping quite often. She seems pretty reserved. And I started to think about like this way that like white women in media at least have been like allowed to be more sexual and all this kind of stuff. I don't know, just wondering if you guys picked up on that, and kind of there was just these weird dynamics around relationships and the way that they could perform in relationships.
I didn't think of it so much in like a racial sense of like distinguishing like, oh, well, this is this is how she's able to experience whiteness, but more so in them trying to differentiate between Claire being this very like free spirit, because they constantly were trying to make her seem like this like woman who was so carefree and just like was living her life, but then at the same time was like trapped in this lie. Whereas Irene was like technically living her truth, but still not. Like there was a scene where I think she's talking to Hugh, the white guy, and she's like, well, we're all passing in some way. And it definitely feels like she was kind of trying to navigate her own identity issues, her wealth, like a lot of different aspects of her life.
Yeah. Like piggybacking off of that, I also thought, I mean, I could see how like Claire's whiteness like kind of highlighted how she could be like this like free woman in the film, and she just had less to worry about, like Irene or Renee not wanting to talk about race to her sons, kind of trying to shield them. Like obviously Claire doesn't have to think about that. Her child's like at some ritzy boarding school. Yeah, I don't know. Did you guys feel like Claire was trying to steal Renee's man?
Something weird was going on there, child.
I watched it with my mom.
They kept alluding to that.
I watched it with my mom, and the whole time she was like, That's why you gotta watch some women when it comes to your man. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. And it seemed like she was like gonna let her too.
Yeah,
Which
she was
weird.
like, why don't you two go together? Or maybe she was testing him.
I don't know.
That was where
It was
I was
weird.
like, what's this point of this storyline? What are
It
you
wasn't
trying
about
to
passing.
tell
And
me
then I've also heard that
here?
they had some people viewed it as the two ladies as having like a little like homoerotic thing going on.
Who said that?
I guess if you want to put that in your mind, sure.
I mean, maybe. I didn't really pick up on that much.
I interpreted it just as like he's attracted to Claire's energy and personality and like kind of like vibrant, just her way of life, whereas like Rini was so like buttoned up and reserved and intense all the time. And so I think she also kind of was like, wow, I need to like loosen up a little bit. But I feel like the same reason she couldn't loosen up was that she was very lost in like, I am able to walk through this world passing, but then I come home and I have this Black husband and these Black children. So she was just like in this weird mental space, and Claire was just like la la la, like I'm having fun and wearing my furs and playing games with your children, like I don't know, like even the relationship with the kids, like I was like, damn, these kids mad rude to Irene.
Right. And they're obsessed with Claire. And
Right.
it was, I could see how Irene would just be like frustrated. Like, here I am morally, you're a little more corrupt, right? You are lying to yourself, lying to your whole family. And like, yeah, I pass sometimes for convenience, but like in the broader scheme of life, I'm living life as a Black woman. And yet somehow everyone's obsessed with you and you're like doing this like really bad thing.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I found it interesting to watch the way that Claire was like just like traveling through their life. It was like it was kind of voyeuristic in a way. It was like she was coming back to herself, but also like almost playing pretend with her own people. Like there was one part she was like, God, I just miss being around Black people. I miss the way they laugh, the way they talk. But it's like there was no like the way we talk. Like there was no like there was not a communal kind of way of looking at it. So watching her like dance in those clubs was like fucking cringy to me. I felt her like chasing down Black men, you know.
But then they also showed Hugh's wife doing the same thing. I saw exactly, which I think they were trying to intentionally show that dynamic. And then if you've read, I mean, they talk about this in tons of books, but Malcolm X particularly talks about this in his book, how like so many white people would come up to Harlem to like party and like kind of like gaze at the Black experience. Yep. And it was like all these white men who would have like these Black prostitutes. And it was like always this kind of longing for that culture. And I don't know if they said this in the film or if I saw this in like a little clip or YouTube video that I watched, but she definitely, they say they always come back. Yeah, that was what they said. Like, was that in the film?
Yeah.
In the film they talked about how, and they also talked about how like white people come to Harlem just like to dance with them.
Like that's so like I can't imagine like you have to just let all your culture go. It's gonna be really fucked up, and I apologize to the white people listening, but like we just a little more lit, you know. So it's like, damn, you're not getting no yams. That's
she talks about the food too.
Yeah,
she
I'm
was
like that's
I
a
miss
wrap.
Real cooking.
You're not getting the yams.
That sucks.
You're doing a foxtrot, maybe.
Oh, bitch.
Or like you're not like really getting it popping.
My thing was like, for what though? Like it's not like you're in the South, right?
Right.
You could be in New York and still live a ritzy life.
Rini's doing it.
Yeah,
right,
but
Rini's doing it.
But her son's still getting called a nigger.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Yeah, and Claire got pushed out of a window. So
okay.
Well, okay, that was some weird shit. That's when it got really weird for me.
I didn't know. So
you think Rini did it?
It kind of, I don't know. It was hard to say. I was
getting those vibes as well, but like they were trying to like allude that it was her.
Because something happened. There was a quick hand movement. And I thought she was gonna say like swipe her out of the way.
I think she was trying to.
So maybe
Who
she
knows?
pushed
I
her
don't
by
know. I
accident.
don't understand that damn movie.
I was like, really? Now the bitch is dead?
I was happy to see her go, not gonna lie.
Damn, Glenn. Overall, though,
Ow.
even though it didn't, to your point, Chelsea, I had the same thought. Like, okay, so this ain't really about passing in the way that I thought it would be. And then I was like, all right, well, now it's just a movie. And I think it's really beautifully shot and it's keeping me entertained. So here we go. And then the end, I was like, really? This is why I don't watch movies, because y'all be doing this bullshit. I get to the end for some shenanigans to happen.
Right. I want a movie about passing. I want to see
The
that.
process.
Not only the process, but the experience. Like, what did I get from that to learn about passing?
You barely
Not
saw
much.
her and her husband interact. Like,
Yeah.
when did she go home and have to make him casserole? Like, I don't like.
Or
we
like,
didn't see
how
that.
does she wrap her hair? Or is it just like a part of being able to pass is you have super soft or like white-ish
Silk
hair?
pillowcase, scarf, bonnet. She had to upkeep.
Is
that
it a
blonde?
wig? Like,
Right.
It looked like a
right.
wig.
yeah.
Her hair definitely wasn't blonde and her eyebrows weren't blonde. So she was going and like touching it up all the time.
Right. Or is she naturally blonde? I don't know.
Yeah, these are important questions.
Yeah.
How'd their kid come out?
Well, remember she said she didn't want to have any more kids or something like that. Oh yeah,
Right.
that's
Probably
what
because she got
was saying.
lucky,
She was scared.
quote
Yeah,
unquote,
she
with the
was
first one.
terrified.
Not white looking.
Yeah.
I
That's
thought
intense.
at first I thought she was gonna say because the labor, and then she said because of a fear of them being dark, and I said, oh my God, this is a lot. This is crazy.
And interesting how you
Oh.
hate it so much for yourself, but yet you have the ability to love on someone else's Black kids, you know? But like you don't want it for yourself.
I wonder if it was just her, because she says she was brought up in this like white, with these white aunts or something that were like super religious. It almost sounded like she was brought up in like a convent. I wonder if it was just like she thought, I'm assuming, I don't think that's true, but I think in the beginning, like she said I don't know what happened to her parents, but she said she was raised by these white women or aunts, or maybe white passing women who put in her mind like, girl,
You
go
can
do
pass,
this.
you better do
You're
it.
gonna be
Yeah.
white.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
also true. Yeah.
this is not even closely related, but like I've literally had people be like, oh, well, you speak Spanish. Like, why don't you just tell people you're Dominican or Puerto Rican? And I'm like, why
Oh my
would I?
God.
Because I'm not.
Why would I do that? I've
That is
literally had
so
people tell me that in high
sad.
school. I was like, y'all niggas are so fucked up. You don't even know.
Damn.
Anti-Blackness is real.
Yeah. So, and if you're not in the right mindset, you could easily fall into that shit and then think it's going to be better. And then here you are trekking up to Harlem every day, getting pushed out of windows. Foolishness. Just
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. She could have been a lot more bougie than she was in retrospect. Like she was really trying to be with the girls.
I was like, she was pretty bougie now.
She was, but she could have really been like on some like, ew, I'm not coming around or whatever. Shorty Irene was like the uptight nose in the air one.
I know she like didn't want to sit with Zoo, the housekeeper.
That was
She was
very
like, Zoo,
interesting.
like take my bags. I was like, interesting.
And Claire and Zoo were like kikiing and laughing. And I was like, all right, what are you trying to tell me here? Like another layer of Irene where it's like, she's in the Negro League.
Right.
But she always on the phone with white man Hugh. And then
she
Black elite.
Hugh.
Right. So it was very interesting.
But like also remember, Claire is not this saint either. Like Claire wouldn't even have Sue in her house. So it's like
very true. Very true.
You kikiing, but you wouldn't have this woman in your home.
That's true. We only get very small snippets of Claire's anti-Blackness because we don't see her in that space.
Right.
Even though it's kind of right in your face.
Right. But like they keep showing you her trying to reconnect with her Blackness. So when you juxtapose her and Irene, you're like, Irene, fuck is your problem? The whole time, Claire is literally
she's committing the ultimate sin.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Irene is she is being black.
right.
Right.
She's just a bougie black.
I still
Right.
haven't spoken to my mom, but I meant to call my mom and ask her about the film and just ask her about our heritage, because I have this great grandfather who, like, I'm like, wow, I wonder like what his experience was like, or if people would try to be like, you should try to pass. I should really call my grandfather because he would know. But like, he married a dark-skinned woman. He was not with the shits. He was like, we're not playing these games. But I'm very curious to know like what that experience was like for him.
I wonder if that was like you think that was an intention?
Definitely.
Oh shit.
He like
That's
hated.
what Malcolm X's mom did.
Yeah, he hated that he was like fair and had a lot of issues with all of that.
Oh shit.
But I wanted to call my mom and grandpa
That's
after the film and
wild.
be like, can we talk about passing? They're gonna be like, what is wrong with you?
Oh my God, actually,
There's a
now I think
number
about it,
of
I'm like, I
people.
know that I could have had people in my family that passed. I remember a story of my great grandmother was sitting on a train with my great grandmother and her son, or her brother, I mean, and my great grandmother would tell the story that one of the people on the train came by like, ma'am, you don't have to sit in the Negro car. You can go to the other car. And she's like, well, only if I could bring my Negro children with me. And the man was like,
She just thought a white lady was just sitting with
sitting
black
with
kids on the
What
tree,
kind of sense does that even make?
like a creep.
Did you guys ever watch Imitation of Life?
Yes.
Mm-mm.
So it's basically this like black woman, her daughter comes out super light, like her daughter is able to pass. And basically her daughter treats her like shit, wants nothing to do with her,
Yes,
like, because
so
she's
nasty.
living her like white life. And she can't get, obviously if people know that's her mother, she, is no longer able to pass.
Right.
Very interesting movie. I suggest you watch it. But I just Googled black people passing as white, and like the pictures are so interesting.
Oh,
My mother spent her life passing as white.
Yeah, she looked white actually.
It's giving like
My fair
Cuban.
white
the
Cuban.
fair-skinned
Yeah.
actress who refused to tell people she was black.
Looking like that other actress that's
And
married
there's
to
things
Boris
you can
Kodjoe.
do, right, to make yourself look even more white, and there's things you can do to make yourself look even more black.
Black.
A la Rachel Dolezal.
Right. I just, when I think about that, the idea of passing, like it literally
A
puts
family
a chill
that
in
passed.
my fucking spine.
See, like I can see these people are black, but I also
Yeah.
can definitely see how they could pass.
Yeah, I mean, those boys look Italian.
Right, that's always the go-to. Are they Italian or Jewish?
Well, maybe they're Italian.
Which, depending on the time, that wouldn't have really helped you either.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this is Imitation of Life.
Yeah, there was a
Oh, wait,
scene
no,
in
is it?
Imitation of Life.
I don't know if it is. I don't think it is actually.
I feel like there's a scene or something though where like, is it that the mom is dying and she won't even come see her child? I mean, she won't even come see her mom. Yeah, it was sad. The mom was just like begging the girl to
Begging her.
come
and
back.
she was
It
like,
was so
get away from me,
sad.
mother.
It was so heartbreaking.
Damn.
Yeah, it was bad. But shit, what was I gonna say? Something about, oh yeah, the idea of like it makes me nervous, right? Like it's like on one hand, people passed for safety, but then
Right.
like you're never really safe. Like you're living with this secret all the time, and like anybody could find out at any moment.
But
But
like,
they're
how
also
could
probably
they,
thinking
unless
of their
they,
kids.
Yeah.
how could they find out technically, unless you like see their birth papers
Mm-hmm.
to see like Negro? Because
Right.
you could be like, yeah, like I actually know someone who they really thought that they had never been with a white woman, and they slept with this girl. They thought she was just like light skin. Turns out she was a white woman, Jewish,
Oh shit.
and they
Okay.
had no idea. They thought it was a light skinned girl.
I mean, I guess there was no reason that the girl had to say, "Hey, I'm Jewish."
Right. But then, like, as this conversation went on, after they had already hooked up, it turns out the girl was white.
So wait.
And he was like, what
was
the
he
fuck?
bothered?
Yeah, he was bothered.
I'm like, it's sounding like he was.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Because he
This
was
shit
like,
is-
only Black women.
It's also so wild because if you think about it, the director like has Black heritage, but
Yeah.
she is a white woman.
Yeah.
Right. Because obviously when you pass, I would think
You have white
in
heritage.
a generation or two, the Blackness is gone.
It's gone. Yep. I
Because
mean,
you're not going
maybe
to pass and then get with a Black person.
maybe what she's a 36. I don't know how that
A
breaks down.
36?
Her grandfather was Black,
Yeah.
but white enough to pass. So like,
Mhm. I mean, yeah. See, now we get into the like one drop rule, right? Because
right.
it's like, are those people who were some people that were passing? Are they white? Like
they like 75%
they're kind of white,
white.
as it is. So like you could can you just decide which way you're gonna go? Here's this one Chelsea starts getting excited.
Well, okay, we talk about this like when I look at No Shade, very lovely guest, like Robin Thicke's son. I'm like,
Oh, that child's white, right?
he's a fourth Black.
But he can't just be white, Dan. He can't. It makes me upset. But like, wait, what are the emotions that are going through, Chelsea?
I'm just like, when someone's Black and when someone's white.
So what is Robin Thicke's son?
I don't know what he looks like. Send me a photo.
He has blonde hair and blue eyes.
Bright blue
There are
eyes.
Black people with blonde hair and blue eyes, but send me a photo.
Okay, I will send you
You're
one.
pulling it up?
Yeah.
Hold on, wait. I was like, I'm gonna find it too. Robin Thicke. Son.
I feel bad talk about this baby, but I'm like, sorry,
Oh
child.
nah, come on now.
It's taking its sweet time to send.
I'm showing it.
Yeah, he looks like light skin.
No, he doesn't, Chelsea.
Yeah, he does.
Maybe we should speak about people's children.
he could definitely pass for sure.
I mean, how do you
got a little coffee in that milk?
Chelsea?
Okay, you're showing me his baby picture.
This is how old he is.
Babies look whiter in general.
Shut up.
Show me no, they do.
Stop it.
They
Stop
do.
it.
You know how many
No.
girls used to be like, when I was a baby, I was light skinned.
I know, I heard that.
Like,
That was
Who says that when you were
A lot
a
of people say that.
newborn?
a lot.
Not
A lot of people
five.
say that. Even in certain cultures that are colorist, they're like, oh, check the ears because that's where you can see the actual color. But babies tend to be light skinned
Yes,
or
but
lighter than.
by the time you like 3, 4, 5, I feel like it has set in.
No, have you seen my baby pictures? I was very white.
I'm gonna say
My toddler
it looks
pictures.
the same, no.
No, my skin color was lighter. I'm definitely darker than I was as a baby or a toddler.
Listen, all I'm gonna say is this child, I'll show you again because you said he looked too young at that time. Here he goes again, standing tall, older. He's not a toddler.
I said he definitely could pass. But me as a seasoned Black person, I
You
could
can
see.
tell that he's Black?
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. How are you gonna tell me?
Seasoned
Black person.
If I know that Charles' mother was Paula Patton, I would be like,
So white child.
I mean, Drake's baby looks a little white,
Does.
but
a little. Don't get confused because they put cornrows on the child.
that's why y'all gotta be careful. Y'all want to, interracial. But anyways, I give the film 2 out of 10.
Damn.
I give it
I was
like
so bored.
a 6 out of 10. Like, don't expect to Chelsea's point, go in there and think you about to get like the full
Passing experience.
But I think it was beautifully shot. I love the music. I
Music was
loved
great.
the New Yorkness of it, like seeing them in Harlem and this brownstone. Like, I don't know, maybe it was more of like a connection to the film. They over here talking about Oscars and things.
Oh.
In interviews. Yep.
I don't know about that.
Maybe for cinematography.
Yes.
Yeah, cinematography was really good. I mean, they did act well. At first, I thought what's her face was overacting.
Yes, the acting was good, but I mean, there's so much you can do, when the writing.
Writing was pretty good though. Like when you like really like because we even in talking about this, we had standout lines that we remembered. So I think that there was
That'll make it good.
No?
Where's the story?
I feel like it was about like the discussions that like the subtlety of the conversations and shit.
I don't know. I think it was, interesting for this woman to take her foray into directing. She was inspired by the book and her family history, and that's that. Also, had no idea that the actress who plays Claire, now I'm blanking on her name. I want to say her Ruth Negga.
Yeah, that's her name.
She's
Negga.
Yeah.
She's half Ethiopian and half British, but grew up in Ireland, or half Irish and grew up in the UK. I was like, whoa, she's got very interesting, and she's always playing these, like she's in the film about the first interracial couple.
Oh, right.
The Loving.
Yeah, Loving. I'm like, okay, they be pulling her into
they do.
Oh, she was born in Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm.
She's a Capricorn.
Ethiopia. All right,
Interesting. One more question I had for y'all though. Did you hear, like, in the house that Irene lived in, there was like, were her neighbors like making a lot of sounds? Like, did you peep that?
No, it wasn't her neighbors. It was her children upstairs.
Those her kids? Okay, never mind.
Where were you going with this?
No, okay, because there was a scene also where they're like in the backyard and somebody they're like she and Claire talking, and somebody yells across the fence something to them, and Claire's like, "Amen, child," or something. And I felt it was like I felt her like slipping into the like her blackness or something. But it kind of I don't know. To me, it kind of felt like Claire was living in this house. Irene, I'm sorry, was living in this house where like blackness was around her. She could hear it, but she wasn't like really engaging with it.
I don't know.
No, I think those were her kids.
Okay.
And I think in the scene you're talking about, Zoo yells back at her.
Oh, that was Zoo?
Like
no.
they were talking about
Zoo,
something,
it was Zoo
and
yelling.
Zoo goes
it wasn't
inside.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
But great observations.
I just want someone to make a movie where it's like the girl, she grew up, she's kind of light skinned, she has a conversation with her family. Maybe one parent's like, we love you, but you need to try to pass, get a better life. And then the other parent's like, no, you got to stay true to who you are. And then we see her journey of passing or not.
Sounds like something you can dabble in, Chelsea. Go get the writers and the directors. Get it popping.
Maybe I will. Oh, I think this actress is gonna play Josephine Baker.
Oh, I could see that.
I could definitely see
she
that.
looks just like her.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Which I wonder if at the time was Josephine Baker. I don't really know her story that well. Like, did everyone know she was
fair,
black?
but they knew she was black because remember she put her foot in the pool, and that's when they emptied the whole shit out and bleached it.
Oh, that was her. Because I remember she was like in Europe most of her career, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that was her. I hope I'm not
Shit.
lying.
You know, that also makes me think like, yeah, it's about also how other people perceive you, right? Because somebody could just think that somebody was white, and it could be up to the person to make the claim that like, no, don't get it twisted, I'm a black person.
Okay.
Yeah, like what's her name? The one from
thinking what they think.
The mom from Black AF. What's her name? Rashida
Tracy
Jones.
Ellis Ross.
Rashida Jones.
No, Rashida Jones.
Oh, Black AF. Yes.
When she was on what show? Is it Parks and Rec that she's on? Anyways, obviously in Black AF, she's playing a biracial woman.
Mm-hmm.
But in her other shows, a lot of the times, I feel like it's implied or implied that she is white.
Really?
Yeah. In her other shows, she don't. Was she in Parks and Rec? I feel like she was. And they didn't talk about her being Black.
Yeah, she is in Parks and Rec. She does not. I mean, she don't look white to me at all. But people.
And you
White-
think the woman from In the Heights does?
I don't
You are
think she
very
looks
strange.
white.
I'm like, don't mix me up with that. I don't. Mm-mm.
Right, because I know
look
Sade thinks
white.
that woman looks white.
Okay, so I'm still trying to figure out if Josephine Baker is in fact the woman with the pool. I'm pretty sure it is. But fun fact, there's a whole pool in Paris named after her. So if it is her, the irony of it all.
Oh my God. I mean, that's pretty iconic. She don't look white. I mean, she don't look white. I was gonna say she doesn't look not. I don't know. She looks mixed.
Can we go
I
on
don't
to
know.
what
This
would
should
you
be
do?
out. Okay, yeah. Time for the what would you do? So I actually just wanted to talk about. Oh, do you have one?
I have one, but
Oh.
if you have one, then we can save this
Oh,
for
I
the
have
next
one too.
episode.
Oh no, you guys go. You go. Sade.
Okay, well, we received a DM. Shall I read it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Hi, ladies. Hope you're well. I love your show. And I have a question for what would you do? I lived in New York for about 3 years now. And after years of being back and forth to work for a year and inside for almost 2, I'm ready to find my people and my man. Any advice for a COVID cautious girl who is looking to make friends and date? Where should I go? What should I do? Where are all the fine men? I hope this doesn't come across too thirsty. LOL. I'm tired of paying this high behind rent and not enjoying the city. I appreciate your time and answers. Oh, after a year being back and forth for work for a year and inside for almost 2. That's what she meant to say. She sent a correction. Okay, sis, what would you do, ladies?
Girl.
I'm like, yeah, don't ask Glynn.
Yeah, I don't know.
You gotta go outside.
And I do go out.
Well, she said she's a COVID cautious gal. So I don't know if it's
Oh.
more so that she's COVID cautious or she don't know where to go. I don't know.
Right, because if it's just like you're afraid of COVID, well, then unfortunately, I don't know what to say because you have to go outside.
Right. And you have to like make out with people.
Oh my God. I mean, I would suggest, I mean, these are the kind of things
Chelsea,
I
why is
like
that your
to do
face?
too.
That's a part of dating, is it not?
No, not
For
make
like
out with people.
activities. Like especially maybe if you're like COVID cautious, so you don't want to like go to the club. Like, what?
You don't make out with people you go on dates with? What do you mean? What the fuck is that?
Anyways, Glenn was in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah. Now I started
Wow,
thinking
so
about
weird.
kissing random people, and that's so disgusting.
Lying cap. She's got on a cap and she's capping.
Oh God. Yeah, actually, wait. Now I'm thinking, I don't think I could ever just like meet a person and start kissing them. I don't think I can
Meet a
more.
person and start kissing them, but maybe they walk you home and give you a
Girl.
good night kiss or your
Mamas.
after drinks.
I
Now
have a
you
kiss.
captain. Now you
It's not
captain,
so.
Miss Mamas.
I'm not saying when you first meet a person on a date, you're immediately making out with them. That's not what I'm
You
talking
just
about.
meet them in the club.
No, I'm talking about on my first date with my ex. We went home, and then as I'm getting out of the Uber, he gave me a kiss.
I can see that. I can see that.
On my first date,
I can
we
see that.
had sex.
I can see that. So then, okay. I thought you were saying like if she goes out and she just like meets a person in the bar.
Yeah, I thought you meant
No,
like make out with
them.
everyone in the bar.
No,
Yeah.
I'm talking about dating.
Okay.
Like, as you're dating,
okay.
you will probably exchange bodily fluids with other people or be very close to them.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I was saying like activities, you know, like little mixers or like, I don't want to say paint and sip because that sounds like mad corny. But you know what I mean? Like I feel like there's like places that do like programming and stuff, right? Like that place Lips Cafe, I feel like does like little programming. Like
Wait,
Listen,
Lips the
ma'am.
drag bar?
no. There's a place called Lips Cafe in Brooklyn.
Oh, it's newish,
It's
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they have like little events or like little talks or like, you know, like it's a little bit more intentional, a crowd is coming to talk to people. It's not like a loud ass club where you can
Listen,
actually
ma'am,
like
I'm
make
not gonna lie to
connection.
you. Like Glynn is telling you, go into sipping C's or sipping paints or whatever. I either recommend you dabble in apps, not necessarily because there's good things there, but you gotta like kiss 1,000 frogs to maybe get a prince on there to just get out into dates.
Yeah, you
But
do.
my biggest recommendation, honestly, is to tap your network. Like, see if somebody can introduce you to somebody who can introduce you to somebody. Because to be honest, my last few like actual solid people / how I met my current guy were like through my friends.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I mean, girl, maybe that
I think
happened.
just go outside.
Child. Litz Cafe does an insecure watch party, by the way. This is the kind of thing I'm saying, like activities, events, programming.
I don't know if you're gonna find your man at an insecure watch
I was
party,
about to
but
say,
okay.
I was about
Why
to say it
wouldn't
way
you?
more harshly.
I mean,
like, ain't no
you,
niggas going to
Glenn,
no
would
insecure
find
watch.
Glenn,
Why
you would
not?
find your man there, but I would not find mine. So depending on what
What you
you're interested in.
mean? What? You could definitely find a what? What?
I'm
No?
on
No
Chelsea's
guy I'm dating is going to an insecure
team
watch
here.
party.
Yeah,
Okay, well, she's also looking for friends.
Oh, friends. Oh, yes.
friends, correct, absolutely.
Okay.
And then maybe those friends have somebody for you, girl.
That's true too.
Start building out the friend roster, maybe, and then they might
Right.
bring other male friends around.
Girl,
No?
so I need new friends. My damn self.
I mean, you already know that you only hang out with gay men. I don't understand. We talk about
I'm like,
this day
I
in
don't
and
have
day
no
out.
friends that know no men at all. What? Where?
I tried to introduce you to
I have
one.
single
Now,
women friends.
now his new
and
girl is coming to the Virgin Islands.
Good for them. It was not a match.
But I tried.
Was
I
not a
tapped my network for you.
match. Oh, I'm supposed to be going to a Tinder one man's trash party. Like we all have to find a person on Tinder and then bring them to this party.
That
Let me
sounds
guess
fun.
what group of friends is doing
Yeah.
this. Yeah, okay.
Wait, I can't guess.
It's my teaching friend.
Oh.
Everybody's single on that side. All of them.
It's not even that.
All of
I'm
us.
just like that idea. It's
It's
giving
very
that.
on brand for
It's
that.
very on brand. No shade. We've done something kind of similar in my friend group. It didn't go very well.
I mean, I think it'll be interesting.
Whole time you have a man, kind of. So what are you doing? What are you even talking about?
Wake
We
it
can
up.
unpack that on the Patreon.
All right,
But,
should we record that?
Yep.
All right.
Oh,
So sorry, girl. I feel like I didn't give no good advice. I also would say, why don't you pay for the Hinge? I know people don't like to pay for it. Invest in your love life for a few months. Just pay for it.
I agree. Investing in the apps.
you got to pay for the extra good people on Hinge too.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
Just pay for a
So
few months.
you gotta
And if it
buy
doesn't work
roses.
out, but at least try it.
And it gets your dating pulse. Like you gotta, get outside.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're serious about it, because I'm just on here, I match with people, I say hi, and then I stop talking to them.
Bitch, because you're getting
Yeah,
digged
but
down
you're-
by somebody 2 days later. The fuck are you talking about?
No,
And you're a
nobody is
Sagittarius.
very interesting.
Terrorist.
Yeah, like, I'm just like, just not into it. Like, I just don't see it. I don't.
Well, best of luck, friend. We might have a meetup. We might have some men there.
Yes, if we have one, you better come.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay, listeners, feel free to email us your what would you do at hello@blackgirlstexting.com. You can also DM us at blackgirlstexting on Instagram or tweet us at blackgirlstext1, or you can go to our website and fill in like a little submit a note to us, blackgirlstexting.com. And also, if you want the real tea, I mean the real chamomile, I mean the real green tea, the real ginger, or a little bit of chai, you need to join the Patreon. So that's Patreon at Black Girls Texting. Oh, we also have YouTube. And don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Bye, y'all.
Bye.